Hello guys, welcome to today's tutorial. So in today's video we are going to be learning how to cut a princess dart bustier. So I'm going to come to this top of my paper here and rule a starting line. So I'm going to come down from the starting point to mark my bust point, which is 10, my under bust, which is 13, and my waistline, which is 15. And I'm going to go ahead and rule all the points across. So this is my bust point, my under bust, and my waistline. So the next thing we're going to do is to mark our shoulder measurement. My shoulder divided by 2 is 7.5. I'm going to mark it right here. On that point, I'm going to come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slant. And I'll come here to mark my neck width of 3 inches. And I'm going to connect the shoulder slant into the neck width, like so. So I'm going to come to mark my neck depth of 3 inches. Then I'll use my French cuff to connect the point. So after marking my neck, I'm going to come here to mark my arm length. How to get your arm length: divide your bust by 6, then add 1.5 inch to the measurement. So I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement here as well to get a straight line, and I'm going to connect the 2 points together. And I'll go ahead and extend the line across. So this now becomes our chest line. So the next thing is to mark my bust measurement here. My bust divided by 4 is 8.5. So I marked it right there. So I'm going to divide this thing into 2 equal halves to get the midpoint. And I'm going to go in by half an inch here. And I'm going to connect the 3 dots together. I'm going to use my straight rule to connect it this way. And I'm going to use my French cuff to connect it into the chest line, like so. So I'm going to divide my nipple to nipple measurement by 2, which is 4. I'm going to mark it on all the 3 lines: my bust point, my under bust, and my waist line. And I'm going to connect the 3 points together, like so. So on this center front, I'm going to mark half an inch. If you are of a bigger size, if your bust is big, like from 38 to 40, you can mark 1 inch on that side. And then I'm going to mark 1.5 inch on this side front. And if your bust is of a bigger size, you can mark 2 inches or 2.5 inch on the side front. And I'm going to connect the 2 points together, like so. So I'm going to come here and come down by half inch. This is to avoid any form of sharp edge on that point. And I'm going to use my French cuff to connect it this way. So you pay attention to how I'm using my French cuff. So this is it. So I'm going to come up here by 1 inch from the under bust point. I'm going to come up by 1 inch like this, and I'm going to connect that line all the way to the 1 inch I went up. So I'm going to measure this armhole. Whatever I have there, I'm going to divide it into 2 equal halves. So I got 8. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I'm going to mark the 4 here. And I'm going to connect it to meet that line with my straight rule, like so. And I'm going to blend it to avoid any form of sharp edge. So on that point, on this line, I'm going to mark half an inch on both sides. I'm going to mark half an inch here. And I'm going to connect it all the way down to that point. So I'm going to blend it like so. So here I'm going to, the 1 inch I took for a dart here, I'm going to replace it. I'm going to replace it here. And I'm going to extend that line all the way to that point. So make sure you replace the 1 inch. I will also replace the 1 inch on the chest line here. so we don't have any form of shortage when we are sewing. And so this now become our new armhole. I'll just connect. I'll now impute my body measurement. I've already marked my bust measurement, so I'll add 1.5 inch of allowance. Whatever I have here, I'm going to transfer it to the bust point as well. I'll come to the under bust, divide my under bust by 4. I'm going to mark it right there. Then the 2 inches we took for our dart, I'm going to replace it. And then the 1.5 inches sewing allowance, I'm going to put it there. And I'll come to the waistline. I'll do the same thing. My waist divided by 4, I'm going to mark it right here. Then the 2 inches for the dart, I'm going to replace it as well. And then I'm going to add 1.5 inch for sewing allowance, and I'm going to connect all points together with my straight rule like so. So I'll just cancel all this area we don't need. I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So this is basically it for the front. It's as simple as this. So make sure to pay attention to how I'm cutting it, so that you don't cut it anyhow when you are cutting yours. So we now have the front ready. This is it. We'll go ahead and cut the back. So I'm going to rule the starting line here. This is where all our measurements will be taken from. So I'm going to place the front pattern here and then transfer all the lines to the back pattern, instead of starting everything from the beginning again. So you can do this one to make it easier for yourself, or better still, you can just rule all the lines again from the beginning. So I'm going to take it up this way, and I'm going to make all the points visible. I'm going to rule them across all the way. Please make sure to include your zipper allowance when drafting the back. As you can see there, I have a zipper allowance of 1.5 inch there. So make sure to include it when you are cutting the back pattern. So this is my waistline, my under bust, my bust line, and my chest line. So I'm going to come here and mark my neck depth of 1 inch. So I'm using 1 inch for the back, and I'm going to connect it with my French curve. I will also extend the line into the zipper allowance like so. And then I will mark my arm length, my shoulder slant this way. So we have all the lines ready. I'll come here and mark my bust measurement divided by 4. I'll mark it there, and I'll just create my armhole like so. So I'll come here and mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2, which is 4, and I'm going to mark it on the bust line, on the under bust, and on the waist line, and I'll connect the 3 dots together with my straight rule. So on the waistline, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch on both sides of the dart line, and I'm going to connect it all the way up like so. So I'll go ahead and impute my body measurement. So I've already marked my bust measurement. I just added 1.5 inch of sewing allowance. What I have on the chest line, I'll also mark it on the bust line. So I'll come to the under bust, mark my under bust measurement divided by 4. I'll mark it there, and then the dart here, I'm going to replace the measurement for the dart, and then I'll add 1.5 inch for sewing allowance. I'll come to the waistline. I'll do the same thing. My waist divided by 4, I'm going to mark it right there, and then the dart, the measurement I took for the dart, I'm going to replace it and then mark 1.5 inch allowance, and I'm going to connect all points together neck. So this is basically it for the back. So I'll come to the zipper allowance here and mark 1 inch. So this is to eliminate any form of zipper bulge, and I'm going to take that all the way up like so in a slant form. I'm going to mark this out. This is the area we don't need. We're going to cut that out, and I'll go ahead and cut the pattern out. So if at this point you are yet to subscribe to my channel, please do well to hit on the subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell so you can be notified anytime I drop new video. Like, share, and do well to comment as well. Thank you so much for doing that for me. So this is it. This is the back and the front pattern. This is basically it for the pattern drafting. Thank you so much for staying tuned. See you in my next video, and do well to subscribe before you go. Thank you.